Do you wish you knew exactly how to write a sales post to attract soulmate clients using the most powerful gifts from your astrology chart? Well, guess what? Now you can learn how for free. I'm going to share my cosmic copywriting secrets that have helped people to instantly turn strangers on the internet into buyers for their high-ticket offers. In my 5-part training series, Cosmic Attraction Copywriting, you'll learn the mindset switch that takes my clients from feeling confused about their content or not feeling fully safe to share their story online to making sales more easily and naturally than ever before, with the astrological placement that unlocks a new level of depth in your storytelling that builds trust 10 times faster with the clients who are genuinely a very aligned fit to work with you. Plus, the messaging tweaks that take my clients from attracting people who can't afford it to easy sales into 5-figure offers with no sales calls. And you'll get clarity on the 3 things your soulmate clients need to hear from you consistently in your message to feel confident and excited to buy your offer. You'll also get my writing process prompts to share your story in a powerful way that stands out to the right people and leads to ready-to-buy clients popping up into your DMs asking to work with you. Click the link in the description for instant access to Cosmic Attraction Copywriting. Hi, I'm Sarah Mack, and welcome back to the Creative Magic Club podcast, here to help you become a 6-figure creative by filling your high-ticket offer through authentic storytelling and astrology-guided content strategy. We're going to continue our conversation about money and astrology, and I want to dive into 3 signs for selling successfully. And I also want to bust some myths and really speak to some of the reasons why your offer might not be selling as well as you want it to. There are many, many paths to a sale, right? And I know it can be really tempting to fall into the mindset of, if I just nail the perfect strategy, then I'll be good at selling forever. And it took me a while to really know this to be true. And it might sound obvious to you, but also I feel like a lot of marketing can really feed this story that there's a right way. And there absolutely is not a right way. And like client magnetization happens at a confluence of your alignment and your connection to your vision and to your goal, and then the aligned strategic actions that you are fully committed to bringing this vision to life. And that recipe is going to look slightly different for every single person because we have different skill sets. We're in different phases of life. We have different capacities, right? So this is why I love using astrology for business strategy, for marketing, for content strategy, because it really helps us build our path to our results and to more money from the inside out, from really building from a foundation of what is the easiest pathway for me to succeed? What feels the juiciest, most aligned, most accessible way for me to make my dreams happen? And then obviously, we get to navigate within frameworks of support and mentorship and people who have done it before and people who have built skill sets. And this I find to be the most empowering around money, around sales, is to really remind ourselves that the thing that closes the gap from where we are now to where we want to be is building skill and taking action. Like, you can build any freaking skill you want. You can build the skill to get really good at any pathway to money and sales that you want. So you might as well invest in the ways that you want to, that are going to be fun for you to continue to do. And obviously, we're always going to evolve and we might change our minds and our capacities change and situation and circumstances change. And then we evolve our abilities and our skills and our pathways. So at its most simple level, if the sales that you want aren't happening, all of the clues are right there in our life, right? All it means is there's a gap in your client's path to working with you. It doesn't mean you haven't discovered the magic formula. It doesn't mean that you're somehow cursed and have loads of terrible karma. Obviously, every single thing about our life and our past and our history and who we are comes into play when we show up to take action and to follow through and to reach our goals. And all of that shit that needs to be dealt with is going to come up in your path of entrepreneurship. And, we build the skills to be able to deal with that. while we're building the skills to achieve what it is that we want. So what's been true for me when I haven't been hitting my goals, I never fall into the story of it's not working. And I notice myself start to make meaning out of that then creates more resistance, that then leads to me continuing to not take the actions that I said I was going to do, or feel weird about it, or get in my head about it. I've learned so many times, enough times now, to catch myself to know that the reason it's not happening is because I just didn't follow through on the launch plan. I just didn't follow through on what I said I was going to do fully. And maybe I thought I did follow through fully, but I kind of phoned it in, or I half-assed it, or I didn't do what I said I was going to do. Or I thought I did, but actually there were some really critical pieces missing. So I always like to reflect, okay, what was in the way of me not following through on the launch? What were the thoughts that led to me thinking that not taking the action was a better idea than taking the action? I think a common thought that comes up is, what if it doesn't work and it will be so much work and I'll be disappointed? I think that's our major resistance thought of, why bother? Like, oh, I did this before and it didn't work as well as I wanted it to, so why should I bother again? And whenever I've been in cycles of hitting result after result after result, compounding, growth, more clients, more income, that always happens when I'm just in a period of continued momentum, continuing to take action, continuing to follow through. And so, sometimes in those slowdown moments, there's a legitimate alternative priority, like a life priority or a health priority or another project priority. But being 100% truthful with ourselves about what we have chosen to prioritize, this is really key, to remind ourselves that it's actually all in our power. Even if we're reaching for a result that we haven't reached yet, that's, we don't have a lot of evidence that we'll be able to do it. Same rules apply. So another thought that tends to slow me down is debating, oh, should I focus on this or should I focus on this, right? And this is why the power of just having a clear launch plan and a clear launch calendar, it is the accountability that keeps us in action, that leads to momentum, that leads to results. Because so often, let's say, for example, I didn't sign as many clients in a launch as I had hoped, but I keep going. Down the line, I get to my client enrollment goal. Would I have ever got there if I'd just given up? No, we have to keep going. We have to commit. We have to keep following through, and remembering that if a result hasn't materialized yet, it doesn't mean that it's not working. It means that it's on its way and we're closer to it because we are following through. So yeah, something that used to really get me caught up was this idea that I needed to be perfectly aligned and that there was this thing that will lead to me taking off. And I used to debate all the time, should I go all in on money mindset, or should I go all in on content strategy, or should I go all in on astrology? And then really incorporating my astrology into my strategic decision making, it really got rid of a lot of that conversation. And it showed me that actually I'm here to do all of those things, and also really dissolved this illusion that there was this one thing that was going to lead to me taking off. If anything, understanding my astrology chart dissolved the self-doubt and the self-questioning that slowed me down, that created so much more ease in my strategic decision-making, in my launching, in my content strategy, in my message, and in signing clients. This is the true gift of running my business using astrology. And I actually have seen clients take off with certain content topics and finding those particular conversations, keywords, and topics that do lead to them going viral and massively growing their audience and business. But what's really, really important is knowing that this happens while they are doing the step-by-step launch plan to launch their offer and enroll clients into buying from them. It's not like having a huge audience, and I've seen this too with other people, where they have a giant audience and they're so focused on growing the audience, but they don't have that launch plan that's designed to turn those people into clients, to build relationships that go to the next level and create the next level of impact and mission through an offer, through a client relationship. So you have to be doing the launch actions alongside the work to be reaching new people and growing your audience. I've also seen myself make as much, if not much more money than clients who have gone viral and have a massive audience but they come to me because they aren't doing the step-by-step launch strategy that actually leads to sales. And when I say step-by-step launch strategy, I mean the one we have designed for them, not my magical one-size-fits-all cookie-cutter launch strategy. No, no, no. So this is a really huge one to just call yourself out on. And I do think that this is rooted in that, like, you know, a knight in shining armor on a white horse coming to save us. That this narrative, this archetypal narrative that women are fed through media since we're little girls. This idea that, oh, you know, marry a rich man, someone's coming to save you, the thing, the amazing marriage. I'm watching The Gilded Age at the moment. And it's like, just marry a rich husband with a good name, you know, then your life is a success. And if you don't achieve that, or you know, stray across the train tracks to the side of being a divorcee or having a baby out of wedlock, then you're banished and your whole life is ruined, right? So don't let this illusion screw you over. Yes, we might land on something that goes viral. Yes, we might land on a content topic that's really resonating with people. And obviously that can help, but it's not going to absolve you of doing the diligent work to sell your shit with a clear, compelling message and to create a clear client pathway for people to sign up and work with you and pay you. And it's actually not that complicated. So let's talk about content and think of these as skills to build and refine that the better you get at it, the more money you will make with more consistency. And this is really what we're focused on inside the Cosmic Copy Mastermind. And I'm opening up the doors again, which is super exciting. So if you know you're ready for support with this, you can click the link in my description to apply. So know that posting on social media on its own is not enough. Just getting a ton of people on sales calls on its own is not enough. Even having a sales page on its own is not enough unless, you know, it's like one of those old school, like 50-page long, very dense storytelling sales pages that we used to get through ads back in the days. I haven't seen one of those in a while. I don't know if that's still a thing or not, but here are some really important pieces in your ecosystem, in your content ecosystem, that does lead to sales consistently. One of them is good emails. And obviously it's possible to create clients purely through social media without bringing people over to an email list, but this is a risk. And to be honest with you, it's a dumb risk in 2025, where things are evolving extraordinarily rapidly. And, you know, who knows what's going to happen with social media, which direction it's going to go. We can know one thing is that it's always going to be changing because that's what keeps them in business. So the one thing that will stay consistent is the community that you have direct relationships with on your email list. And then either a really good sales page or a really great content strategy, plus, you know, relationship touch points where people can get a chance to really connect and get to know you. These things are really necessary. You don't have to have a sales page, but it will do a lot of that work for you. And you know, the easiest way to build in-depth relationships is long-form content. It just doesn't happen in the same way in short form little bites of information. Thinking about sales through the lens of relationships and quality relationships is really going to help you to know where the gaps are in the client pathways to working with you. And long form content and short form content, any type of content, isn't going to work without storytelling. And storytelling isn't going to work without vulnerability. Otherwise, connection and trust does not happen. And I really learned this lesson when I trained as a copywriter, and I studied very long form sales pages, which is known as direct sales copywriting, which is what I teach my clients. And, you know, that was like 10 years ago now, where you could click on an ad, click on a sales page, and it would be so long and there would be so much story that it could convert somebody who had just landed on it into buying a relatively high priced offer. So you have to know your customer journey and how your individual pieces of content in your ecosystem are working together. For example, you might see very short form sales pages, but the only reason they're working is because they are a part of a larger content ecosystem. Same with almost any single piece of content that you see out there on the internet. So it's so important not to just copy strategy that you see from the outside of someone else's business without building it intrinsically and testing it to get your customer journey smooth so it's working, to bring someone from, you know, a new connection into your world to connect with you, to learn about you, to learn about your work, and have all the information they need to confidently make a decision about whether your offer is right for them. So when a client comes to work with me, we get clear on the offer, we write the sales page copy, and we create a free training to give the right people a reason to join their email list. And we test these until they actually work. And by work, I mean that it leads to a sale from a dream client. That's when we know that your content is working and that you can get really repetitive with it to bring in more clients. And there's really no point in adding other things into the business until these pieces are working. Then we build out our content strategy through social media, emails, networking, and connecting with more potential clients and collaborators who can help you reach more clients. And this is where people go wrong, including me. I've gone wrong here so many times, is really having shiny object syndrome with too many strategies and tactics, thinking that that is the problem, that you haven't found the right one yet, versus picking one simple strategy and making sure all the gaps are filled, working it until it works really well. Picking one offer and getting that selling really well, because like anyone who's in my world, we know that it's not because your offer sucks. It's not because you aren't good, right? This is not a question. So just think about that for a moment. That means that your offer is not the problem. It's your ability to communicate the value of it so that people can see that. Because we know once people get in, they're going to have a life-changing transformation when they experience your work. Like that's not even a question. So communicating that is the thing that closes the gap on you getting clients. That's why it's so important to test your message until it's actually landing with the right people. And how do we do that? By actually talking to your people and listening to them, becoming obsessed with solving their problems for them. Anytime it's not going well, we're in our head, we're in resistance, we're me focused instead of you focused. It's not the offer, it's the message every time. And yes, sometimes evolving your offer can involve tweaking the focus and target result of your work with clients, because it's really about tailoring your skills and your mission and vision and desires for your work into solving a specific problem for a specific person. And then your main job is to communicate that super clearly in language that resonates with your person. This is how you sell any offer at any price with success. Knowing who it's for, clearly articulating the problem it solves, making the offer enticing and clearly pitching it repeatedly until it's selling. And the secret sauce that makes any strategy work with more power and magic than anything is conviction, confidence. This is the heart of selling. Believing in your work first before you invite others into it, and being very transparent and clear about why you hold your conviction. You know, what is the evidence? What is the story that led to your conviction? This is the thing that leads to sales. What is the fastest path to conviction? It's freaking believing in ourselves and knowing who the fuck we are and not questioning. And what is the fastest, most profound way to empower ourselves to do that? It's through embodying our astrology chart. So what I look at in clients' charts when they come to me because they want help selling and filling their high ticket offer, I'm going to look at their Venus because it's so helpful for connecting you to your secret sauce and magic that people love to pay you for. So we really want to lean into this strategically in your launch and in your message and your content. So if you want to get more confident to improve your sales and make selling feel so much easier and more authentic, work on understanding and embodying your Venus sign. The other placement that I come back to again and again and again with all of my clients that's really profound in shifting into confidence and conviction and creating really fast connection through their launch content is Chiron. This sign gives you your storytelling gold. This sign, it like cracks you open to share the vulnerability that creates connection through your stories. When you lean into sharing insights from your Chiron placement, not only do your challenges hold less power over you, but they open the door to deeply authentic client relationships and easy sales conversations because that trust is there in your humanness and in your power to be able to help them. And the third sign that is like your North Star in your work and your business is your midheaven. This is your mission and contribution for your work in this life. Slow and steady wins the race when it comes to midheaven. It's Capricorn ruled. So whenever that little voice comes in that has just discovered an ad for a shiny new strategy course that you want to buy on Instagram, remind yourself, slow and steady wins the race. Stick to your North Star. Build in the way that you want to live. And this is the reminder for the kind of energy to plug into, not just to have quick wins, but to build a legacy that brings you the kind of success that makes you happy long term. To really stick with it, to put one foot in front of the next, and keep building those skills and doing the things that you love and that are meaningful to you. Because, like I always say to my clients and remind myself every time I want to launch a new offer, is I'm only going to get there in the way that I want to get there. Like, I'm not going to get there by being like, oh, I'll just do this sucky thing for a little bit to get me to the place that I want to be. Like, no, we have to go the way that we want to go, especially when you're a creative, because we all have that inner rebel who just like doesn't fucking want to do things in other people's ways. And, yes, obviously there's going to be an element of skill building, and that, like, when you're at the gym and you're like, when is this class going to end? You're still going to have that feeling when you're building skill, right? Because you're meeting your edge. But that's different to building a path that you don't actually want to go down and that you don't want to stay on. So my midheaven is in Gemini, and it's actually conjunct my Chiron and my moon. So I know that my mission and my legacy is centered really around that emotional storytelling to help others to grow their brand and impact through content and writing and podcasting. And so I have built content systems that sell for me, and I stay in my zone of genius, creating content that I love to create that leads to sales for me. And clients find their way to me through that ecosystem. So I've been mastering selling through my content so I don't have to spend hours on sales calls or cold DMing people. And it took me a few years of continuous study to master these skill sets, and I'm still continually studying and refining these skill sets. But now I have a dream business that can last a lifetime and gives me so much freedom thanks to the skills that I dedicated myself to building and putting into practice through, just doing the do and launching and continuing to launch and launching again and doing better next time and refining and just understanding my craft in the way that I wanted to build my business and to charge what I want and to serve whoever I want and to not have to work with people I don't want to serve and to make as much money as I want. So building your business in alignment with these 3 signs will set you up for success, not just now, but for the rest of your life in bringing your legacy and vision to life in the way that's going to make you happy. So if you want to know the prompts I use to help clients turn their insights from their astrology chart, from Venus, Chiron, and their midheaven to successfully design and sell a high-ticket offer, I'm so excited to have my new mini course available to you. It's called How to Raise Your Prices and Sell a High-Ticket Offer Using Astrology. And the link is in the description below. And if you love this conversation and way of approaching business, and you are ready to master successfully selling a high-ticket offer in your business this year, I invite you to join my Cosmic Copy Mastermind, where we go deep into embodying these placements and so many more with hands-on support from me to build out an aligned offer, content strategy, and brand message that attracts dream soulmate clients on repeat into your offer priced at $5,000 to $10,000 or more. So click the link below to apply. I hope you've loved this. Please reach out to me on Instagram at SarahMacMagic. Share an insight that came through for you. And if you know somebody who can benefit from this episode, please share it with them. And if you haven't already, please go and leave a review on iTunes. It really supports the show. And I'm sending you so much love, and I'll see you next week. Bye.